So let's talk about our first story of the day, which is politicians calling for the military service members to disobey orders. But let's listen to what type of orders they're asking them to disobey.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
Or our Constitution.
So let's get this straight. What these politicians are asking our military service members to do is to disobey unlawful orders. Last I checked, they were obligated to do that already. So I don't see the reason for this message. Asking a military service member to disobey an unlawful order, it's like asking a Marine to clean his rifle. It's a no-brainer. They know how to do it. The military service members know that their obligation is to the Constitution of the United States, not the president, not a politician. That is clear cut. But I think there's an underlying message to what they're trying to do here. Listen to Leland talking about that right now.
I almost feel like Democrats are setting this up for there's going to be illegal orders, right? I mean, when you put this out there, have we seen anything that would lead us to believe that this video was necessary?
Now I'm dabbling in politics, and you know I don't like to do that. I have not seen that. But
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, the training is the same anyway. Illegal, immoral, you are not bound to execute.
So I completely agree. This video was absolutely unnecessary. I think our servicemen and women already know that they're not obligated to follow any unlawful orders. Now, one of those senators, Senator Kelly, came on Morning Joe trying to explain why he sent his message and why it was necessary. But at the same time, he demonstrated why it was also unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Listen to this.
And we're concerned that members of the military are stuck in a spot here, and they really don't understand what to do. You get briefed on this stuff pretty early in your career if you're at OCS or ROTC or maybe in boot camp. It was just a friendly reminder that we are a country of laws. And by the way, I don't think there's anything more American or patriotic than standing with the Constitution. We're a country of laws. If anybody in the chain of command, anybody asks you to do something that's illegal, not only should you not do it, you're actually required not to do it. You have to follow legal orders. You are not to follow illegal orders. It's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It clearly outlines that you have to follow legal orders. That's a requirement. Somebody gives you an illegal or unlawful order, you're not to follow it.
I think Senator Kelly summed it up perfectly in the end there. Somebody gives you an illegal order, you are not to follow it. We already know that. We are in an all-volunteer force. Every service member understands that he's not required to follow an order that is unlawful or illegal. So we know what this is already. This is the Democrats trying to get some publicity. Now here's Byron Donalds talking about that, and he expresses it perfectly. Listen to what he has to say about the whole situation.
That mess you just heard over there about not being intimidated, no, the intimidation came from them when they launched their stupid video that nobody asked for, that nobody was talking about, to try to get clicks and likes. That's actually a bigger problem that's going on in this building behind me. Everybody wants to be a star now. Everybody wants to be on social media. Everybody wants to be on Fox. Everybody wants to be on CNN or MSNBC. And that's the stunt that they pulled. The president is correct to call it out for what it is. Because for them, and I honor their service to the nation before they came to Capitol Hill, but for them to now go out and tell our troops and the members of our intelligence community that it's okay to disobey orders, that's obscene. They would never tolerate anything like that when Joe Biden was president, when Barack Obama was president, when Bill Clinton was president. They would have never tolerated anything like that.
Look, I think Congressman Donalds is right. If Republicans would have said anything like that, it would have been outrage. But the issue is here that they're not telling the military to do anything that they're not already supposed to do. The military understands that. So I think the outrage on both sides is out of control and I think uncalled for. But I think the greater issue here is what's going on. The Democrats continue to attack Trump, the person, instead of attack his policies. Once again, instead of using their platform to establish legislation that helps the American people, that is effective, they're using it to push their agenda of absolutely trying to destroy President Trump's image. We already know that's not going to work. The best thing they can do is utilize their platform to help the American people, and they're not doing that right now. I wholeheartedly believe that until the Democrats can attack his policies directly and put forth better legislation, put forth better policies, better procedures than what President Trump is putting out now, they're just going to be digging a bigger hole for themselves than they're already in. I mean, the Democrat Party is in big trouble. And everything that they're doing right now is not helping them. And the solution to that is very simple. Just go do what you were elected to do. Pass laws. If you don't like the opposing party's laws, pass better laws. Come together. Negotiate. I think Mamdani is the voice of the Democrat Party right now. He is an eloquent speaker. He is smart. He is witty. And he's ready to extend his hand across the aisle. As a matter of fact, he already did that. Here's more from his meeting with President Trump.
He's got views and a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Mamdani, it sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you would be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve the relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views. And what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
I think this is a great thing for the Democrats. I think this is outstanding. You've got somebody that just came onto the scene as the mayor-elect of New York City, and he extends his hand across the aisle to the president and says, I know we have our differences, but let's come together and talk about what we have in common, which is our desire to help the American people. For Mamdani specifically, help the New Yorkers. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that, more Democrats haven't come out and condemned him for, being bold enough to go and meet with President Trump, for doing what politicians are elected to do. Talk to the other side, try to establish policies and bipartisanship to pass bills and legislation that are the best for the American people. I'll reiterate what I said in previous videos. I think Mamdani is outstanding when it comes to expressing himself. The issue is his policies are flawed. Some of his policies that he put forth, increasing taxes on the rich, free transportation, free buses within New York City, none of that stuff could be done without approval from the governor. And the governor has already expressed that she will not raise taxes on New Yorkers. However, I think this is a great first step. And when I saw him at the White House, I got excited about it. I thought it was a great thing. I was very interested to see how the meeting went. And it was obviously a productive meeting. We knew that they weren't going to agree on a lot of things. But our hope was that they would agree on some of the pressing issues for the American people and the people that live in New York City. And apparently they did. And now let's go to our next story, which is Venezuela. Now President Trump has said that he is not ruling out sending ground forces into Venezuela. And I know that there are a lot of Marines right now on those ships that are desperate to get on the ground. But I still don't believe that's going to happen. But let's listen to the update on what's going on the ground right now.
Now to the U.S. military build-off off Venezuela. Tonight here, newly released images of U.S. Marines conducting training missions, including live fire exercises. What is the president now planning? And ABC's Matt Rivers off Venezuela for us again tonight.
New images tonight showing U.S. Marines training here in Trinidad and Tobago. multiple Osprey aircraft carrying out joint exercises with the local military as the U.S. ramps up pressure on Venezuela. For weeks, Marines from the same unit conducting live-fire training operations across the Caribbean, Harrier fighter jets bombing targets. It comes as the New York Times reports President Trump signed off on additional covert CIA operations inside Venezuela that could lay the groundwork for a bigger military campaign, citing multiple people briefed on the matter. The president saying this week he is not ruling out putting U.S. troops on the ground in Venezuela.
I don't rule out anything. We just have to take care of Venezuela.
The Times also reporting Trump authorized a new round of back-channel negotiations with Venezuela's president Nicolas Maduro, who reportedly offered to step down after a few years, but the White House rejected that plan.
Of course, the Trump administration rejected the plan. He's talking about stepping down in a couple of years. What do you think he's going to do for the next couple of years? He's going to continue to rob, and he's going to continue to murder the Venezuelan people. He needs to step down right now. Now, the Trump administration learned from the Biden administration's mistakes. Remember, the Biden administration had two of his nephews, and they had one of his henchmen in prison here, but they gave him up. They released them and sent them back to Venezuela with a promise that they were going to hold free and fair elections. That never happened. So I guarantee you that a similar proposal was put forth for the Trump administration. But Secretary Rubio is not going to fall for that one. And obviously President Trump is a savvy businessman and he's not going to fall for that one either. And I'll say again what I said before about the Venezuelan military. Once we start conducting attacks, once we start conducting surgical strikes, aviation strikes on targets of opportunity within the country, that military is going to crumble. Their aviation assets are not going to leave the ground. They're not going to fight against F-35s, F-18s. They're not going to do it. The opposition is going to move in and the country will fall very, very quickly. What's keeping Maduro in power right now is the cartels. I'm sure the cartels are putting pressure on Maduro to stay in power. And they're telling him to stay there as long as he can. But it's only a matter of time until he's ousted from there. And the Trump administration is not willing to negotiate anything other than his quick exit out of the country. The American people are disconnected from the situation that's happening in Venezuela. And having troops on the ground over there, God forbid having some Marines get killed, the American people would not have it. And it just doesn't need to happen. I think after Maduro is ousted and Venezuela becomes a free country, I think that's when we really need to focus on Colombia. And I'm not saying bomb Colombia, but I think we need to have some serious talks with Petro and figure out exactly what he's going to do to eliminate that heavy production of cocaine that happens there. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story, which is the Epstein files. Now, the GOP got very serious and sent a message to the Department of Justice that they better not crawl when it comes to releasing these files. Take a listen to what they said.
Key senators sent a friendly warning over to Attorney General Pam Bondi. Do not slow walk the release of the Epstein files. Senator John Kennedy saying it would be a mistake to do so. I fully expect the Justice Department, he wrote, to release all the documents. It will take a while, but I believe they've started on it right now. Others speaking out, Eric Schmidt, Lisa Murkowski, and others. The clock is ticking. It's time to get those docs out.
I think the reason why they want these files released quickly is because there's going to be suspicion if they don't. The American people can say, is there tampering here? Are these files tainted? And that's something that they don't want to have to deal with here anytime soon. Meanwhile, we have Congressman Crockett making a fool of herself, saying that there were several Republicans that received donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Listen to this.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review.
And review they did. And you know what they found out? That was not the right Jeffrey Epstein. This Jeffrey Epstein was actually a physician. It has nothing to do with the Jeffrey Epstein that we know, that child molester, the child predator that died in prison. I think the most upsetting part about this whole thing with her is that she comes out completely unprepared. So if she's unprepared when it comes to things as simple as this, how unprepared is she when it comes to creating legislation that is good for the American people? How much research, how much work is actually being put into that? It makes you question it a little bit. Now, here's one of those people that she mentioned in her speech, Lee Zeldin, responding to what she said.
So the first reaction was like, I'm pretty sure that Jeffrey Epstein never donated to me. Like I contact a couple people on the team, And I'm like, all right, can you just confirm this for me? Because I'm pretty sure that Jeffrey Epstein never donated to us. And it's you could search it. She said that it's a 20-minute Google search, whatever. It comes up so fast, and it says occupation physician. That Jeffrey Epstein that she's talking about obviously is not a physician. And then you look at the date, and talking about like common sense, head scratching. The date of the donation is after that Jeffrey Epstein was dead.
Once again, this is ridiculous. The fact that she's a congresswoman, a sitting congresswoman, the fact that she's a lawyer, and she's putting out this ridiculous information is crazy. I think this is my huge problem with all politicians. They play on the ignorance of the American people. Because if you put that in a clip and you put it out there on social media and people start to trim it and people start to put it out there, they're going to believe that the donation was actually from Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile that we know about, not some random Jeffrey Epstein, but she was given an opportunity on CNN to correct the record. Here she is trying to correct the record.
He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that...
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Just so that people understand, when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled. And that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
Are you serious? When you go to the FEC, it states what their occupation is. She could have simply seen that he was a physician, and that was not the Jeffrey Epstein that she was trying to refer to. But we all know what she was trying to do. She was trying to insinuate that it was the Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile. And she was playing on the ignorance of the American people, that they would just listen to that and then believe that that was what actually happened. I think these politicians need to get back to honesty. I think that's an oxymoron. Politics, honesty, I think that's an oxymoron. You cannot come out and say things like this because it kills your credibility. I think that we as the American people need to see past all of that and understand who these people really are. Understand the fact that they are not there fighting for us, the American people. They're there for themselves. And that's unfortunate. Okay, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay balanced.